Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day in the life. I am in Kansas City, Missouri today. I am at the Arabia Steamboat Museum. And this is a place where they found a steamboat basically buried in a cornfield. They dug it up. It had sank in 1856, I believe, which they'll tell us here on the tour. And since that time, the course of the river has changed. And basically they found this steamboat buried in the mud in a cornfield, completely supplied with supplies for people as they were making the expansion out west for pioneers and outposts and things like that. So it was completely loaded with supplies from the 1850s. They've all been recovered. They're here in this museum and evidently in an exquisite shape. So my buddy Greg Byler sent me over here today. Thought we would come and have a look. So the tour starts in just a few minutes. Right now we're just kind of waiting outside. Got the phone plugged in, charging it up while we're here. So we're gonna look at this wheel for a few minutes until the tour starts. Hey Apache Scout, good to see you too, man. Yeah, it's gonna be a cool place. Hey Yeoman, hey Digging for Life. I think this is going to be a cool tour. I'm told that they have some amazing artifacts in the museum downstairs. Tour starts at 3:30. I think we're on Central Time. So it starts here in just a very few short minutes. I'm kind of waiting on that to start. Let's move over here to the sign. I'm going to unplug the phone for a second. Hopefully we don't lose power during the broadcast. Let you guys see a little bit about what it says here. Howdy folks.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? Sure thing, Digging for Life, no problem. Glad to take you guys on adventures when I can. So this is the board here. It's talking about all the stuff that they've found. It was a 171-foot steamboat. And this is kind of just a glimpse at the museum here. Alright, let's wander around for a minute. Here's the gift shop. This is all in a big farmers type market here in Kansas City. They have like a big farmers market outside, right outside the doors there. You can kind of see the cars out there. A lot of people selling fresh produce, things like that. Here's the gift shop. They got candy stores and all that sort of thing. We got to visit with this fella right here. I think it was a recreation. It looks like it to me. That looks pretty modern as far as the lumber goes, but some of it looks really old, so that could be partial. Well, I can kind of see right down there the sign where it talks about the paddle wheel, but I'm not sure yet, Yeoman, if that's the original or not. I think they're getting ready to fire up the tour in just 1 second. Hello, Stuart. How are you? I'm walking over here to plug into this outlet for just a few more seconds before the tour because I'm only at about 50% power, and I don't know how far through the tour we're actually going to make it. So I'm going to get you guys to stay with me as long as the power will hold out. They're lining up over there for the tour right now, though, so I'm going to be the straggler who comes running in at the last second with a phone in the air recording everything. Charging via the power wheel. I believe I am, actually. Yes, this line goes straight down and over to the power wheel. So, all right, they're giving me the all aboard, so I guess that's my cue to get over here. See where we're at. Steam whistle's blowing. I guess that's my signal. And here we go.
Everybody's from Maryland? That's me.
Tennessee.
Tennessee
I'm from Tennessee.
Okay, so we got Tennessee, Maryland. And where in Maryland?
Southeastern shore, like the Chesapeake River, Susquehanna River runs into the Chesapeake Bay.
Good spot.
My checkered life had a Cherokee pony.
Oh, nice.
And we went over junior high.
Hello, Reef. What's going on, buddy?
Took me back into the
We're checking out this steamboat museum today
You want to see a horse with wild out.
for as long as the battery will hold up.
An open river. Well, we used to get here and say welcome to the Arabia. And now we say welcome to 75 years of steam navigation on the Missouri River. 1819 till about 1885 because we added this thing a couple years ago. And as far as we know, it is the oldest maritime steam engine on exhibit in the world. It's built in a little backyard forge down along the Ohio in Louisville, Kentucky. And it's a rather rough home-built piece of gear. I don't think any two of the nuts on this thing are the same size. And these old engines rattled and shook, always trying to work themselves apart. So without adjustable wrenches, bit of a challenge to keep this thing running. But they didn't worry about it very long. 1819, they put it on a boat called the Missouri Packet. 120 foot long, 20 foot wide, open barge, stern wheeler, famous for being the first steamboat to sink on the Missouri River. And she went down the 5th of May, 1820, so it operated barely a year. She's on an air to Mercy when she sank. 1819, first year of steam on the river. The U.S. government took 20% of the active duty U.S. Army. 1,100 men. It was a smaller army in those days.
Yeah.
Put them in 5 steam launches and sent them up the Missouri River to demonstrate to the Hudson Bay Company, the British Empire, that we defend the upper Louisiana Purchase. And the Louisiana Purchase is the green area on the map. They got to the Council Bluffs, Iowa region, river ice over. So they set up
Hey, Dad.
challenging winter. 200 of them died of starvation and exposure. As soon as the ice began to break up, spring of 1820, the government released some steam barges in St. Louis, filled them with supplies, hustled them upriver. Missouri Packet made it all the way to Arrowhead, about 100 miles east of here. Hit a submerged tree trunk or snag, punched a hole in the hull, open barge, so while the boat's sinking, the cargo's all floating off downstream.
Wow.
Dug her up in 1987, they found the engine and 1 barrel of salt pork. So it's not your best treasure hunt ever. But we go forward 35 years from an open barge to a floating palace. Arabia was built in Brownsville, Pennsylvania in 1853. Brownsville is about 50 miles upstream on the Monongahela above Pittsburgh, where the Ohio begins. Shaped like a canoe, really narrow bow, really narrow stern, but very broad amidships. So the pressure on the river surface spread over a big area. And while she displaced 200 tons empty she could operate 2.5 feet of water.
Wow.
To put 200 tons of cargo aboard, 4.5. The shallow draft's important because she was a wood burner and there's some wood behind the forward ladder or stairway. She'd burn up to 32 cords of wood
Wow.
in a 24-hour steaming trip. And a cord is 8 feet long, 4 feet high, 4 feet deep, split and stacked. So sort of a mobile deforestation program. Yeah. And in those days, sometimes you had to tie up and cut your own, but usually people would stage wood by the river, sell it to the boats. Either way, no one wanted to move that wood very far. So they actually did deforest the banks. The river would undercut. The banks would cave in. Any tree that hadn't been cut would go in the water, and the root ball would act like a drag, taking it downstream, sinking it at the bottom, turn and flip it over so it's pointed downstream, and it would rot off the surface level. So just beneath the surface were these tree trunks called snags, pointed like spears at the hull of any boat coming upstream.
Wow.
And you couldn't see them. The Missouri was so full of silt, the saying was, river's too thick to drink and too thin to plow. Kind of blind man's bluff. First season on the Ohio, second on the Mississippi. Fall of 1855, Captain Carroll, steamboat captain over in St. Charles by St. Louis, bought her for $20,000. Well, that's $555,000 in today's money. But not bad for a capital asset like that. She operated out here the 1856 season. And that's an interesting time in this part of the world because up until 1854, we're standing at the very western edge of the contiguous continental United States. So if you're headed up to California goldfields, up to the Pacific Northwest, or down to Santa Fe, you came here probably by boat because the roads were almost non-existent, and you got off at Kansas Landing. You go to the next street north, 2 blocks west of Maine, block north of the end of Maine, the city has an overlook. Down by the river, there's a limestone way. That's Kansas Landing. You like to unload onto the limestone because you didn't sink over your ankles in Missouri mud. But you really were headed to Westport, about 3 miles south of here. Spring of the year, 1840s and 50s, Westport would have over 100,000 head of draft animals for sale.
Wow.
Horses, mules, oxen, and I'm just glad I didn't have to clean up. But you get there, get a team and a wagon, 5 choices. Oregon Trail to the Pacific Northwest, Mormon Trail to Salt Lake, 2 different trails to California, Santa Fe to New Mexico. But you couldn't stop in Kansas or Nebraska. That was Indian territory.
He knows his stuff, huh?
1854, when Senator Stephen A. Douglas of Illinois wanted to run for president on the Democratic ticket. And he had a little problem. From the beginning of the Republic, we made a concerted effort to keep the Senate of the United States evenly divided between northern and southern states. House of Representatives, based on population, in the 19th century always would be dominated to the north. But if the Senate's evenly divided, there's one chamber where the South's voice has to be heard. And the big issue early in the 19th century was tariffs. The North wanted high tariffs to protect new American industries from European competition and to raise the money for over 90% of the federal budget, which came from tariff revenues. North also wanted internal improvements to take the produce of the great Mississippi Basin to the northeast of New England rather than down the river to New Orleans. South wanted low tariffs and importing finished goods, free trade if they could get it. They're selling cotton, tobacco, and naval stores on the global market. And we worked hard to keep the balance. 1820, Missouri came in as a southern slave state. They chopped Maine out of Massachusetts, brought it back in as a separate northern or free state, just to keep the numbers even. And extended the southern border of Missouri west and said from now on, all territories north of that line, as they become states, part of the northern block of free state, south of the line, southern block of slave. Well, it worked until 1848, when we got the Southwest and California from Mexico. Then the question
See you later, Onion.
That Missouri Compromise line stop at the old western edge of U.S. territory, western edge of Louisiana Purchase, or do we extend it to the Pacific? Well, the debate got so heated, the other big party, the Whigs, tore themselves apart over that issue ceased to exist. Looked like the Democrats did the same thing. And that's Douglas's problem. So he came up with the doctrine of squatter sovereignty and incorporated it in the 1854 Kansas-Nebraska Act, opening those 2 territories to settlement. What it said was, from now on, forget the Missouri Compromise line. Territory applies to statehood. You have a little vote, decide if it comes in slave or free, local issue, doesn't impact the Democratic National Convention, and I can run for president. What he did was start a race to see who could populate Kansas and Nebraska, win those Senate seats, which would mean control of national policy, and really set the character of the future United States. Well, the law passed mid-summer 1854. Immediately, organizations like the Massachusetts Emigrant Aid Society began recruiting families in New England and the Northeast, pay their way out here, and a little stick to get started. With that fine Massachusetts understanding. Come election day, boyo, you'll remember what I did for you. Well, South Carolina tried to do things they weren't half as good at. But we go from 0 population mid-year 1854 to by mid-year 1856, suddenly having enough population density to start towns, school districts, church congregations, and enough clientele for successful general stores. So when Arabia loads up in St. Louis, last week of August, 1856, he brings aboard over 220 tons of cargo.
He's got a lot of info, doesn't he?
Initial inventories for 54 new little general stores in Kansas.
It's 3:30 here in Kansas City. That's the oldest steam engine known to exist. Pretty neat. I don't think he has taken a breath. But this is pretty typical of a BirdDogg video, though. It's sort of like a PBS, a poorly funded PBS. Now I'm in Kansas City. Apache. It's raining.
Some poor guy got out here at Kansas Landing just trying to cross the river. Well, that afternoon the river's in flood. 8-mile-an-hour current coming downstream, washing big trees, all sorts of debris with it, really dangerous. Arabia wants to make Parkville before dark, spend the night there, and move on in daylight. So she's really churning and burning. 8 miles an hour above the current, headed for Parkville. Mile south of town, big walnuts.
Talking about when it sinks.
Bam! To the port bow. Water rushes in. Arabia begins to settle bow first, canting slowly to quarter left, nose down 12 feet. The soft silt at the bottom of the river, leaving her stern quarter above water. But very quickly, all 130 passengers, most of the crew, scurry up to the part above water. But 5 members of the crew grab the one little workboat aboard, jump in it, roll like crazy. They think when those hot boilers hit that cold river water, they're going to explode. And if they do, Arabia's coming down little pieces of kindle. Well, the boilers don't blow. So after about 20 minutes, our 5 heroes go back, kind of sheepishly say, "Anybody need a ride ashore?"
He's told this story a few times, hasn't he?
Off the boat, folks in park, they'll come down with their wagons, take them to a little hotel, overflow to their homes. In the morning, salvage what they can.
I hope he saves enough
2
battery.
things happen. Boat called the Cataract pulls alongside, nobody on the Arabia, so they unbolt the starboard engine, which is above water, bring it aboard their boat. 11 barrels of deck cargo.
Can you all hear him?
Imported English China. And there are 400 barrels of the finest Kentucky bourbon on board.
Oh God, the boat was loaded with bourbon.
Knows what happened to it.
It all disappeared.
I got 30 years active in reserve when Uncle Sam's misguided children. We're United States Marine Corps, and I know a little bit about sailors. And I guarantee you, before the first nut came loose in that engine, that whiskey would go somewhere. What did it really happen? This is a big cake. You see him in the painting. A little too big to wrestle down the 4-foot 10-inch turns in the hole. So down the weather deck. And as the boat's sinking, they bob off downstream. And hopefully some old boy's downriver, reins around his shoulders, plow handles going, "Don't you tell your mom." But it's important to the story because folks don't know might still be aboard. So for a century and a third, there's this idea.
I think it
We did
would.
young and Arabia.
You know, there'd be a big hole, and as the pressure built, it would tear into the hull. Some Kentucky bourbon whiskey.
Very quickly, the white pine superstructure breaks out and washes its way downstream. The white oak hull silts in, forcing all the oxygen out, no oxidation, cold, dark, excellent preservation conditions for 132 years until these 5 guys decide to be treasure hunters.
So it's treasure hunters who found this.
His sons, David and Greg, are in the air conditioning repair business. Dave's on a house call. Homeowners have mapped the river and the wall, not all over it. Those are not swimming holes, those are steamboat wrecks. Find one headed in salvage, bring up the
I'm in
cargo,
Kansas
hold an
City
auction, make a fortune.
at the Arabia Steamboat Museum.
Okay, well, we're going to get Jerry Mackey, family friend, client, owns the High Boy hamburger restaurant.
Right now
chain
we're
out in
listening to this guy.
Has these big walk-in freezers and refrigerators. Well, you bring salvage out of the cold, the wet, don't know how to preserve it, stabilize it in there next to hamburger and onion rings until you find out. Dave Luttrell, excavating business. Want to dig up a boat? Guy with drag lines, backhoes, good partner to have. Each one puts $10,000 in the pot. Ought to be plenty of money. Look at some old newspapers, identify some wrecks. One's the Arabia. We're going to go around the corner and see how the boat came.
Uh-oh, we're on the move now, boys.
Collection out here. And said, you know, we have nothing like this at the Smithsonian. This is the most complete time capsule of America on the eve of the Civil War, anywhere in the world.
The world's oldest steam engine. Look at this thing. Nuts and bolts, all hand forged. They're going to leave without me if I don't keep up.
In the 1860 census, just over 80% of Americans were classified as family farmers. And a family farm in the Missouri River Valley, Shenandoah River Valley, Virginia, Ripon, Wisconsin, Van Valley, Alabama, pretty much the same operation. So what you're going to see in the collection are the daily life items of 80% of Americans 55 months before the beginning of the Civil War. Really changes our understanding of their technological sophistication, corrects a lot of misconceptions about how people actually lived at this critical time in U.S. history. Well, we're here today at River Market, 1856, the city of Kansas. About 18 buildings.